They gave me 5 days to stop driving, and they gave me 28 days to return my driver's license. Just because I was a migrant, I had these limitations in my head. And that was because I was told. And even upon that, I was going to get 6 points on that license and pay a fine of over £600. That was one way of driving again. It wasn't the matter of DVLA. It was just the matter of court. They reminded me of my skin color and how I don't even want to enter into trouble. So it just took me a confidence to call them. I didn't have to pay for that £100. Like, I was a student, and it wasn't even about it being £100. It was the fact that I had to pay money that I didn't have to pay. Is it just me that thinks that we most often exaggerate what happens to us migrants here in the UK? Hold on. I'm going to explain with 3 incidents that I have personally experienced here in the UK and how they all went. And I want you to tell me if that is typical or that was just coincidental, because I'm really trying very hard for them to make sense in my head. It's either I need to change how I think, or most migrants need to change how they think. Okay, I'd also like you to share with me if you have experienced anything similar to what I'm about to share. How did you handle it? And what type of support or how much support did you get from the people here? After arriving into the UK, I was told lots of information. Some of it very true, but some of it was also very misleading. And if I'm being quite frankly, stereotypical. I can still remember some of the advices I got. Play safe, which is true. Accept whatever I was offered. To not draw attention to myself. I was reminded of my skin color. I was reminded of my limits. And yes, I got these advices from migrants. And to be honest, before I came into the UK to study, I didn't do much research about the country. So I came in with a very objective mindset. So when I reached out to these people and I was advised that way, it didn't make much sense to me. Maybe because I didn't know much about the system. I believe I understand some of the advices I got then much better now. I was so afraid to push for more, to pursue opportunities that deep down in my heart, I knew I was capable of pursuing them. Like, just because I was a migrant, I had these limitations in my head. And that was because I was told about those limitations. Not really experience it, I was just told. I don't know if you are actually getting what I'm saying, but I think it's just best to kind of like tell you the incidences that I experienced that will better communicate the message I'm trying to put forward. Okay, but before I continue, let me use this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Fatima Ali. If you are visiting my page for the first time, please consider subscribing. On this channel, I talk about migration, I talk about lifestyle in the UK, and I share my personal stories, hoping that they help 1 or 2 people out there. Please do not forget to like this video, share as well, and thank you for doing that. Okay, now let's move on. And again, before I go into those incidences, I heard one statement. That statement never left my head. The person said that your success in the UK depends on who you seek support from, depends on who you rest your trust in. Exactly what the person knows is what you are going to be fed with. So you then be succeeding and wondering why the other person that you came into the country the same time is struggling, or you are struggling and someone else is succeeding. And I think that makes much sense to me. I'm not trying to put that in your head, but if you find value in this statement, you can make use of it. I think that makes much sense to me. And one thing I get from that message also is that let's keep learning and let's keep exploring. I remember in my first year in the UK as a student, I think I had just done a few months. I had a training in Manchester, okay, and I needed to get to Manchester via train. So I bought my ticket with student rail card. So for those who don't know, rail cards are cards that subsidize your rail fares for you. So it gives you 3% discount on your train fares. So when you buy a ticket, they're able to tell if the ticket was bought with a rate card. So you have to travel with a rate card. Yeah. So I go to Manchester. When we're about to exit the train boarding station, there were officials that were checking our ticket. So they checked my ticket and they noticed that I had used a rate card to buy the ticket, and they asked for my rate card. I was very confident searching for the rate card in my bag. It happens that I didn't have the rate card. So I said to him that it's either I lost my rate card on the way or I left it at home, because the bag I travel with is the bag I use to go to work. So and it's only when I'm going to work that I use a train. So I always have my rate card in the bag. So I was even quite surprised that I didn't have it in my bag. But I did say to them, it's either I left it at home or I lost it on the way. So the gentleman asked me if I was sure about that, and I said yes, I was sure. So he said to me that he's going to take my address and contact me to send a copy of my record, and I was very much happy with that. I remember I did ask him if I should send a copy of the record immediately I get back home, and he said no, you need to wait to be contacted. And I said okay. So I left. I got home. About 3 to 4 weeks, I didn't get any letter. I then saw this letter from them, from their office, a letter of about £100 fine to pay for holding the inappropriate rate card. That was quite strange. Like, it was my first time encountering such an issue, and it wasn't actually an issue until I received such letter, because that wasn't our initial agreement. Our initial agreement was that the letter will come and I will send them a copy of the rate card, not a fine will come. Do you understand? So it was then very strange to me. So I decided to reach out to people for advice, what I should do and all that. And trust me, to get advice of just pay. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. They reminded me of my skin color and how I don't even want to enter into trouble, how I should avoid risk, etc. Eventually, I just made my mind to pay the fine. I remember I went out with one of my friends, one guy that I had met here in the UK. So the guy had done a couple of years in the UK. So I think that was the final advice I got from him. He just stated that, see, you have to pay. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. And I said, okay, fine. So I went back home and I just made my mind to pay. I was just holding my phone to make the payment. On a second thought, I was like, this doesn't actually make sense. What kind of system is this? Do I really have to pay this money, or because I'm a migrant? Like, my brain was not just allowing me. And when you read the letter that came, there was a contact number. If you want some clarification or you need any more inquiries, ring that number. So I was like, okay, what's the worst case scenario if I call them? The worst case scenario is just for them telling me you got to pay the money. And that is not too bad. At least that will set my mind at rest than just paying, ignorantly or blindly. So I decided to ring them. I remember ringing the number, and the first thing I said was that I'm calling regarding this particular letter. And before I progress, if at any point you don't understand my accent, please let me know and I will come again. Okay. Because I want us to have effective conversation or communication on this phone. And he was like, okay. So there was a reference number on the letter. So the next thing I said to him was that, do you want the reference number? At least if you are not understanding me, you should be able to get the information on your system with the reference number. So he took the reference number and I explained to him what transpired that day. Okay. And he said, so he checked on his system and he said to me, yes, I was supposed to receive the first letter, which was meant to be issued on this particular date. He actually mentioned a date for me, which I believe he was reading from the system. And I said to him, I didn't receive any letter. This is the only letter I got. And he said, okay, no, this shouldn't be the first letter you should be receiving. So he said to me, do you have your rate card with you? And I said, yeah, I've got my rate card here. He mentioned an email address to me and said I should take a photo of that rate card and send to the email address. That was it. Like, he was nice, very gentle. So it just took me a call, confident to call them. I didn't have to pay for that £100. Like, I was a student, guys. Like, I was a student. £100 was money, and it wasn't even about it being £100. It was the fact that I had to pay money that I didn't have to pay. Do you understand? So I sent him the email, stated that following the conversation we had, this is it. And the good thing is that these people's calls are recorded, which is a very good thing. And that was the end of it. I never heard anything. I didn't have to pay for any fine. See, what I've learned from this is that these fears are based on a myth that migrants should be satisfied with less. And if we believe this myth, it's going to stop us from reaching higher goals, from reaching our potentials. Like if you watch my previous video, there are laws, okay, there are rules and regulations, there are laws, policies and procedures that protect everyone. If it was that illegal and difficult for migrants to live in the country, then we would not be here at the first place. I feel like some of these advices we get are very like stereotypical. They are myth. Maybe they are from all these days. I don't know. But like sometimes, I'm not saying entirely that is how it is. Like there are cases that you will be mistreated or discriminated against, but that shouldn't be a norm. That shouldn't define a normal living. And that is just one of the incident. Another pivotal moment was when I received a letter of my driver's license being convicted. And the only way I could go about it was two things. So when your license is convicted, it literally means that you don't have any license at all. Your license is nullified. So I was then meant to apply for a provisional license, like a total starter, learn and write the theory and practical test to get my driver's license. And even upon that, I was going to get 6 points on that license and pay a fine of over £600. That was one way of driving again, starting as a starter. Okay. The second way, aside number one, was to open a case in court and appeal. Open a case and appear for hearing. That was a second. These were the two options. There was no an opportunity to call and discuss. It wasn't the matter of DVLA. It was just the matter of court or me ignoring everything and starting again. There's a lot about this particular story, and I have shared it on this particular channel. Okay, when everything went smoothly, I shared it on this channel, hoping that it helped one or two people. And trust me, after I shared it, I was very much happy that it could help one or two people. Even on TikTok, when I shared snippets of it on TikTok, now you can imagine just placing a phone call. They are discouraging you as a migrant to do. How much more saying you want to appear in court? Okay, so if you want to know much about the story, I urge you to go and watch it. Okay, and the steps I took. But then I'm just going to summarize it here. The main point is that I wasn't entirely wrong, but it's just like when they say ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So at that point, it was the matter of courage. It was a matter of creative thinking, and it was the matter of gathering evidences. I remember the instruction on the letter I received. Okay, the conviction letter I received was that I should return my driver's license within some time. I think they gave me like 5 days. So I should return. They gave me 5 days to stop driving, and they gave me like 28 days to return my driver's license to the DVLA. So that was the instruction. But I got everything sorted within 28 days. So I didn't even have to return my driver's license. So what I did was that I rang the court and I opened a case and appeared for hearing. Yes, that was what I did, because I was very confident. Not like I was like 60 to 70% confidence on the evidences that I gathered, and the fact that usually I just believe that these people are there to support everyone. And if I open a court hearing, that is not going to affect me in any way. Neither will it affect anyone around me. Neither will it affect those officials. Okay. So unless I exhaust all options, I'm restless. I don't know if you understand that. It was so emotional after I had gone for my hearing. You won't believe that it didn't even last up to 5 minutes when I entered inside, because see, these people are there to support you regardless of your color, regardless of whether you are a migrant or not, and they have got lot on their head to even want to discriminate you or to even have time to look at. They don't have that time. That is just what I observed or what I experienced, and it's the best experience ever. The fact that you even gathered courage to appear there is something that will just make them want to help you. They don't even have that time to discriminate against you. That was what I felt. You see, when you don't take an action, it's more like they're working one-sided, because they've only got information from one side, either from the police or from the DVLA, and you are quiet. Silence most times means that admission, yeah, you're admitting that what the other party is saying is true, and they got to act on it. But if you have anything, even if it's a single thing, contrary to what you are told, say it. It will hurt, even if it's not enough evidence for you to get away with it, but it won't hurt. Trust me, that experience just boosts your confidence, and it just guides you to do more right things, because you know that the more you do good and right things, you have confidence to contend some of these things that come your way. Do you understand? And when I got there, all kinds of races in the court, it was just consoling. Yeah, I wanted to share two more incidences that I've experienced, and it just went opposite to what I was told or what I was advised. I'm very mindful of the length of this video. I really don't want it to be too long. Maybe I'll do another video bringing to you the other two incidences. But to give you a hint, one was about a parking ticket, okay, and the other one was like applying for job. I really wanted to add this to the video, but it's like the video is getting more longer, which I really don't wish to make it too long. So I'm going to stop here and hopefully make another video featuring the other two incidences. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you can relate to any of these incidences, how did you tackle it? How did you handle it? What type of support did you get? Did it resonate to the advices you got when you first came into the UK, or did it go totally opposite to that? Just put it in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for watching till this end. Please don't forget to like the video, share, and comment. And I'm going to be in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. Once again, my name is Fatima Ali. If you are visiting my page for the first time, please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for doing that. I will see you in my next video. Bye.